just got back from a shoot, and these things right here, hold on. Finally got to put these to the test. So the Hollyland MC whatever ever, they're the smaller ones. First, very compact, love that. Second, when you take these out and you just clip them on, I got 3 compliments. We shot with 2 different doctors, and then we have the main person like that's in control of the doctors there. So she had complimented and she goes, wow, you process to mic somebody up is so much simpler now. You're not running that cord down their shirt, you're not putting a microphone in there, you're not doing all this stuff. It looks better than the little fuzzy thing on there. Apparently it's just this little piece right there. I don't know how well you can see it. You can kind of see it from there. So it's just that little piece on the top. So super simple. The one doctor said that was it. That's all you got to mic me up. I was like, yeah. And he goes, awesome. And then the other doctor, when he had it on him, he goes, hey, this is way different than last time. I didn't have to pull my shirt. He's like, I purposely didn't tuck my shirt in today because I knew I had to come do this. So it's difficult when they tuck their shirt in, they have a belt, and then you got that cord just running out. So it's kind of an odd spot to put it anyways. So highly recommend these. The only thing that I do not like about these, and this is something that I need to figure it out. So if you know what to do, please let me know in the comments. So you put this part in, obviously, with the little part. I have a small rig, so hold on, let me show you. All right, so we have FX3 here, small rig. We have, this is obviously covered up by the locking here. So this slips in here. The only disadvantage is it slips right out. So as you can kind of see again, it just comes right out. You can't tighten this, however. I thought about maybe going the opposite direction. So if you go in this way, it does the same thing. If you're going this way, it does the same thing. I've tried it literally every single way, and there's not enough friction, obviously. And then there's nothing to, like, the piece is just not big enough, which is weird because on this other small rig cages on the ZR, it fits. And that's the only one on here, so I can't really do anything else. There's not any mounting, anything with this. So what I did in the meantime is you have your jack there for your monitor, your HDMI, and then you have your microphone one. So I put basically the microphone one and put it this direction, so you're plugged it in right here, and then the HDMI one basically held that against it so it wouldn't accidentally slip out. It's a pain in the ass, so if you know something to fix this on this rig, or if you have a different thing that it does, I don't know, whatever you have, please comment, let me know, because these, awesome. That part sucked. All right, so speaking of that shoot, first, I love using this Nikkor lens. It's a 40mm. I think the image just looks so much better. The only part that I don't like is there's not a physical f-stop on it. So when you have to turn it to adjust that, there's only the manual focus thing. You got to go in on the screen, click that, do to drop it, or do to raise it, and then you got to exit out of it before you can do anything else. Slows down the process, sucks. Hopefully I can find a better lens for it in the future that has a little bit more of a reach on it too that I can use for the vlogging stuff. But anyways, we got done with the shoot. We were supposed to have a couple additional ones, so it's supposed to be an all-day thing. Unfortunately, it did not happen. We just had the 2 doctors, and then there were other emergencies, as you'd probably imagine, that happened in a hospital. So we weren't able to do the second half, but I got the half of my day back. So what we're gonna do today is do some outreach and then try to prioritize. Speaking of prioritizing, I wanted to talk about this. How many of you guys, like, what's the first thing that you typically, I don't want to say give up, but like outsource? So right now for me, the first thing that I have outsourced is an editor. I've had some issues with my editor. So with following directions, with doing other stuff, there's a language barrier obviously there. I use Fiverr. I've liked having an editor so I can try to focus on other things, and such as like the selling, such as shooting. But at what point? I don't know if I jumped the gun too early with editing, if I should be focused more on learning the editing stuff on there so I can maybe teach somebody internally. But I think right now I'm going to try to edit some of the other projects that are coming in, and then just have him edit the smaller or more corporate type videos that don't allow for a lot of creativity or direction. They're basically reading off of the script, so you can kind of follow along there. because he kind of lacks on the other things. So I want to know, like, are you guys outsourcing editing? Are you outsourcing shooting? Or what are you actually outsourcing, if anything? And at what point you felt comfortable doing that? Camera button, the Nikon ZR's little record button. Third time's a charm, I guess. Hit it 2 other times, didn't work. So I have this idea. First, write stuff down. It helps you think so much easier. But what I'm going to be doing, so my goal is to be more known in the city, as a videographer, as somebody that helps you on camera, somebody that helps your business, somebody that helps you in general. So my goal is just going to be to get in front of them with a great offer, and then to hopefully build that relationship with them from there. So not in particular like bigger corporate clients or bigger hospital clients. I have a different idea for those that I'm going to try afterwards. But what I'm going to do is I have this offer that I think is really, really appealing for a lot of businesses. So it's a brand video, and then it's either 5 pieces of visibility content. So think meet the owner, service highlight, stuff that they can hopefully like repost and do more evergreen versus just like one off. So that way they can find more value hopefully in this versus just like, oh, we made this one video, it did X amount of views. Great, let's move on with life. So trying to teach them that aspect. You got the brand video that lives on their website, lives on their Facebook as a pinned comment, Instagram pinned comment, whatever it is, YouTube. And you can either do the 5 visibility clips, or you can do 2 testimonials with that. So the 2 testimonials will split up into 3 different segments each. So each person will have 3 different questions, and those 3 different questions will be 3 different clips. So you get 6 videos with that one, or the 5 with those others. Obviously, the testimonials are easier for me to do. I sit there and I interview them, do all the stuff, do some additional B-roll if it's needed for that, but it should be good evergreen content that should drive sales for them. So hopefully in a way to train the client into using me, showcase my experience, but also doing it for, I don't want to say dirt cheap, but it's going to be pretty cheap. It's really just to get me in the door with a lot of these smaller or medium-sized businesses. So that's going to be the goal. I think first and foremost, I'm going to reach out to everybody in my networking group that I'm a part of. I think there's 326 people in there. Out of those, I'm probably going to say 50% of them, or yeah, probably 50% of them are actually business owners. Some of them are just like real estate agents, which I think real estate agents could benefit from video too, but probably not the brand type video that this one would be. Insurance people, bankers, those people wouldn't be ideal market for this. This is more of the people that run the business themselves, such as you and I. So I'm going to be targeting some landscaping businesses, some service type businesses, some HVAC businesses, plumbing businesses, looking at those first from people that already maybe hopefully know who I am, or we have something common, such as our networking group. Second, I'm going to go to everybody on my Facebook, and I'm hopefully going to be able to filter out by people that run a business or they put owner or CEO in their title, and then reach out to those people. Most likely if we're friends, we've met each other. I do have people on my Facebook and my Instagram. Obviously I haven't met before just because they follow me for my content or follow me for other reasons. So even though we might not be friends, I'm still going to reach out to them because they know who I am. So I'm going to reach out to all of them. And then I'm going to start going city by city. So I live in a small town right now, right next to Lincoln. So I'm going to target all the businesses in that town. So I'm just going to do this outreach. I have a plan for at least 5 a day. So it's going to be that momentum of getting those 5 and then trying to build from that. So it's not do 5, move on. It's do 5 and then keep growing, which I think kind of leads to my earlier point about outsourcing editing. I could spend, we did 4 videos today. I could spend probably another 2 hours in editing those 4 videos, or I could spend 10 minutes to send those off to an editor for him to edit or her to edit. And then I could use the other hour and 50 minutes doing outreach and doing sales that would drive more value, as long as it's selling, obviously, than sitting behind my computer and editing and trying to drive calls, trying to drive in-person type stuff. So that's the plan. I'll check in after the first 5 to let you know how it's been going. Just got done. We did 7. So I got a little nervous because at one time I sent out, I think it was like 10 messages kind of in a row. It was some copy and paste, some outreach, and it was just people that I knew. So it's people that I was friends with on Facebook. I sent out those 10, and then within maybe like an hour, my Facebook account got banned. It's not even my business account. I've been sending this out my personal. So yeah, I'm trying not to send out too many of these in a day. But I went and added some new people, so I hopefully I can send them out later. Overall, now it's just kind of set back and relax and wait for it to happen. Everybody that I know personally, I'm going to start sending them text messages asking about their business, seeing kind of how they're doing, seeing maybe if they want to do a one-to-one, seeing if testimonials are going to be more beneficial, or just to kind of talk to them about what I can do for them. And if it's not a great fit, ask them for a referral. I said it before, ask directly for a referral. At the end of the day, it's your business. You are the only one that can grow it. So, grow it. Cheers. Hopefully everything is going good for you guys. This morning I went to 2 meetings. So first meeting happened because of those messages we sent out yesterday asking about that offer that we talked about with the branding and the visibility clips or the testimonial. So got one response from that one that scheduled the meeting the very next day. I have another response that I just need to respond to that responded a little bit later. I just never got to because I ended up playing, I subbed on a team for sand volleyball and then I played on my own sand volleyball team. So I just never got around to it. And then I had a company that I met their marketing person. We had the one-to-one, haven't had one for a while. So reached out to them, wanted to do it. It's a carpet company. And then I had the owner of the carpet company on Mulligan Mic. So we kind of talked a little bit about some video stuff, and they were trying just to get through the rest of the year before wanting to do it. So end up having a one-on-one with her. For the marketing person, the owner of it was not actually in yet. So just kind of had a meeting, talked about some different things. Sounds pretty good. Looking at most likely a 3-month retainer, probably around $6,000 to $8,000. So that should be a good one with some good content. Give them a good library of some B-roll stuff with that. And then as I was walking out, ended up running into the owner. Had a really good conversation with that. They have different issues and what they've experienced before in the past. So I think a lot of times I tell it probably an nauseating amount of times on here. Bring people value. So I've experienced in a lot of things. I constantly learn, constantly try to teach myself new things. Being able to teach other people are the best way to learn and the best way to provide additional value. So that way, hopefully in return, they provide you value. And at the end of the day, it's not me versus you. It's not anything like that. We're all trying to succeed. So if you can bring people along to help them succeed, just do it. So we were able to kind of talk about some of his issues. They don't really have a demand issue. They have a supply issue in terms of like the workforce. So I gave 3 factual things that they could do based on other experiences either I have had with any of my past jobs or experiences that people that I've worked with that have had these same issues and how they've fixed those. So being able to share those to grow people, to grow their business, to grow everything is just really beneficial. I have to send an email out to the first one with kind of what videos we're going to shoot, the contract, get that sent over. And then I need to send out some time and dates to re-meet with the owner there and then his wife. And we can kind of talk to see what they're going to want to do for a video perspective. Got to send out my 5 outreach emails or outreach messages for that offer too. So I got that to knock out. And then got to get in a run before going for volleyball again tonight. If you guys don't have an extracurricular activity besides video, besides family, I would highly encourage you to get one. I have 2, golf, sand volleyball, and it's been so beneficial. You get to meet other people, you just get to do other things, get the creative juices flowing by playing volleyball. Very, very impactful. I've always wondered how businesses put together their plan for their marketing attack, especially businesses like ours where it's a creative business and you would essentially showcase the client's work. But if you're doing client work with different types of clients, it can get a little confusing on that. I feel like promoting one versus not promoting another, it gets a little tricky. So I've decided to go to our lovely friend ChatGPT and essentially ask it these 3 things. So I'm going to have it do it in different steps from it, and we're going to see how it goes. And it's just a way to do market research which I think is very valuable to do, is market research, because you need to know kind of what the market is doing, what your competitors are doing strong, what they're not doing very well. And it's a good idea just to have this information in general, and it's obviously a teaching moment. I use ChatGPT more to teach for me, like to teach me instead of do for me. So I asked it this, and I go, I want you to turn into a marketing research company that specializes in extracting data from different company organizations. Very clear. Give it an action or like an identity with it. Your task is going to be broken up into three different parts. Part one is to research three local companies and three non local companies that do similar to what my company does, that likely, based on your best educated guess and the data that backs it, a strong social media presence. Part two will be to go through that research and review each of these different organizations, and we will base them off of the following. And I want you to pinpoint these exact things for Facebook, Instagram, and then LinkedIn. So it's what they do well to drive awareness, what they do well to drive leads, how often are they posting, and then what kind of posts they're making, and about what details are a staple on these posts. So trying to see how often they're posting, make sure that I'm posting enough, trying to make sure that my posts to drive awareness and my posts to drive leads are kind of similar-ish to some of theirs that are doing really well. And obviously they're going to tell me the information, and it's up to you to review it and actually consume it and know what to do with it. But then more importantly, what kind of posts are they doing, and are there any reoccurring themes that come up? Because obviously if a business is doing reoccurring things that is doing well, that means they're working. So I think a lot of times, especially in the creative field, we try to reinvent the wheel every time. It doesn't need to be done. If somebody knows what's being done well, it's fine to copy them for it. And then part three will be to come up with a 6-month social media marketing plan that revolves around a capturing plan, create plan, and posting plan based on the companies that are doing the best of the following or of the above tasks, so that way we can mirror and tweak to make our own to fit our tone and brand. So that's what I'm gonna do the rest of today. I had a couple of meetings in the morning, went and got a massage, which is always good to do. Take care of your body. Don't forget, you're working all the time, take care of your body. I'd love to know what you guys are doing for breaks. For me, it's golf, but golf turns into work anyways. So I don't think that's really considered a break. I consider it a break because I don't consider it work. And then I obviously go out and network. Once again, probably not consider a break because I'm socializing, networking with a purpose to drive more income, drive more money, drive more business, drive more relationships. But those are things that really get my motor going, and it feels more refreshing than being behind a computer, editing stuff, doing outreach, doing that stuff. So that's kind of how I balance. And then when 5 o'clock rolls around, I get to go pick up my kids and I get to go have fun with them. So that's how I balance. I'd love to hear how you guys are balancing things. Great meeting. Just got back from a meeting, gonna get ready to go run. I think it's funny how oftentimes you do not see the fruits of your labor, especially with like how much you do with your outreach or how much you do in social media or just like your presence and like your process of you building a brand. You often don't see the fruits of that labor unless like you're actively putting yourself out there and you're, I don't know if like dropping hints is the right way to say it, but like you're dropping hints along the process to see if anybody recognizes and it calls you out on those. So during that meeting, I was talking to her and she mentioned the Mulligan Mic stuff, and she also mentioned all of my Parde Media videos, and they're starting to build another company doing custom $2 million up houses, and they want to do some different types of video for it. I was like, sweet. And they go, have you ever done anything like that? No, I haven't. I have ideas on what I would do for it. So now what I'm going to do is make sure that I keep that conversation alive in the form of putting it out there as the video content that I want to kind of attract. So I obviously own a house. I don't know if that's obvious, I guess. I own a house, so, and I have friends that are real estate agents. I can get access to other people's houses to do some content with it. So my idea is to shoot like aesthetically pleasing parts of your house. So the goal there is to separate other real estate video type of work with what I could do that would have just different type of purposes on social media versus like selling the house, doing like an overall mood, overall brand, and like that tonality of a business, I think would be good. And it should attract not like your flipping houses type people, not like the ones that want to ruffle through, but it should attract a premium dollar house person, which typically has more money to spend and would like more video assets and need more video assets of higher quality. I'm going to look on YouTube and Instagram a little bit for inspiration to see what other people are doing, and then just start the process. I think it's big to just start the process and see a video, and it's just like, great, how do I think they filmed that? Hold on a second. Let me try to find one. Okay, I found one I like. Let's see if this works. All right, so you got him obviously here. He's by a blind there, and he's kind of looking over it. He's doing some different stuff with his camera. You can kind of get an idea, but then the finished work, it looks very aesthetically pleasing for that house, and it looks different than other real estate type videos. Right, so let's let this focus. So that's kind of going to be the idea, and just try to film it, whether that's emulating my own light with it, making sure the color grading process looks similar to what they're doing. But that's going to be the goal, is to find videos similar to that, and then see if I can do it in my own house. If there's something unique, like there was a fireplace in there. I don't have a fireplace. I don't have an electric fireplace. But if I can find from one of my real estate agent houses that they have one, and maybe it's a new build, so there's not nobody in there, so it's not an issue to get somebody out of that house. It's not a big ask, I guess, is a better way of saying it, to get that person out and to get me in that house to start filming those things, and then just kind of start posting those on social media to see if it continues to attract that type of a client on there, that is that expert-led business that has custom high-dollar houses or custom high-dollar work, that we can kind of showcase it in a different way that they would not be able to do. That video right there, guarantee they're not going to be able to do. Am I going to be able to do it? Hopefully. But it's going to take some practice, and it's going to take some time. Those are two things that they do not typically have, and their employees that they have typically do not have to be able to do that kind of work either. So that's the goal. That's the plan. I'm going to finalize that plan before I go for a run, drink my pre-workout, go for a run, and then get to it. All right, so just got back from the store, got back from some meetings, gonna grab some lunch now, but it is Friday, so this week's kind of crazy to say the least. Let me pop this in. So this will be a good test. We got the microwave oven going on right now, so we're gonna see what the microphone does to pick up my voice versus that voice. But I want to jump on really quick. It's Friday, end of the week. I'm gonna have to edit this video because I'm gonna be traveling this weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to edit it. So I gotta edit the vlog and then get that out. I feel like it's a shorter vlog, so hopefully you guys got some information out of it. So I do apologize for that. Just got back from the store. We got these lovely things. Great road trip snacks. So love those. Oat milk bites. Try to keep the kids healthy with those. And then we do these little Maker's Mark steak strips for those. And then also, so want to talk two things. Had another meeting with hopefully somebody that we're going to get an article about Mulligan Mic in the newspaper. So that would be fun. And then met with the news organization here in Lincoln, and start trying to work an angle to get Mulligan Mic somehow in there to kind of spread awareness. I think during those times I'm going to subtly have Parde Media gear on, so that way maybe they search both of them. But we also picked up something else. Let me show you. So we got our official sponsorship for Mulligan Mic. It is going to be Pepsi, Olani, and Gatorade. Product that is going to be gifts for upcoming guests, but I got to come up with some cool ideas to do a little shoot for it. My first thought was a sunrise shoot on a golf course with a golf bag with some Mulligan Mic branded stuff, with this case, this little set for like the first little wave of guests to come in. So if you guys have any ideas, please drop them in the comment. Anybody that's watching, please subscribe for more, and have a great week.